button and we will get started. Okay, everyone. How are we doing? How are we feeling? I got lots to go over today, and I want to hear from you guys too. Tell me some good news.
I got that little first-time home buyer under contract yesterday.
Ooh, I like it. Good for you. Congrats.
Thanks.
Where did you find that client?
This was the one I was telling you about that he is like in charge of the account for the people that spray my yard. And I just said, hey, I'm a real estate agent. I don't know if you know that. And do you know anybody, if you know anybody that wants to buy or sell, I would love to help them. And he said, oh, my wife and I are getting ready to build a house in Ball Ground. But he asked me to send him my card. And so I did. And the next day he called me and said, hey, I got a call from my lender last night saying we're not doing any construction loans until at least next year. So just somebody that I called him about my yard.
Yeah. Yeah. The guy that came and fixed something on my HVAC. I think I told you this the other day.
Yeah.
He was out there with a guy that I've worked with for many years on my HVAC, and he's like, hey, this is a real estate agent. You should be talking to him. You told me the other day you wanted to buy a home. The coolest part about our business is it costs like about $1,200 or $1,300 a year to keep it, right? From a matter of office bills and that kind of thing. There is every human being walking the face of the earth you can help. And all the things that you get to help people buy and sell, you don't actually have to own. That's pretty much unlike any other business, right? If you own a coffee shop or a deli or a clothing store or something like that, you've got to own all the merchandise. We don't have to own any of it,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Okay. What'd you guys think of the team meeting yesterday? That was awesome, huh? Heather, thanks for doing some research on microphones and whatnot.
That was I really liked the video portion of it. That show, like, it was so easy to make the video.
Yeah.
And so, like, I like the not spending money part, but for myself, I don't know how anybody else felt about it. For me, working in the industry and stuff, I have it in my head so much that audio is so important that was the one thing that I left going, I think I don't want to have my audio sound like that. So I do want some kind of mic. And so I was looking on Amazon, and it looks like there are different mics that you can get for around $24, $25, $40. And they have good reviews, but I like making long-term investments. I don't like buying things to kind of that I feel like I'm going to want to replace later. I don't like those temporary solutions because then I feel like I'm throwing money away. So I asked my friend who does voiceover what he recommended, and I liked the option he sent me had so many different cords that you could hook it up to for different devices. So it made it so versatile. And so the price tag made me go, because I had been seeing all those, $25 to $40 options. And so to jump to like $170, but I was like, okay, if I need to get over that, even though I'm not comfortable doing the voice part, my clients need to hear my voice for it to be my branding. Otherwise, they don't associate it with me as much. And I feel like I'm reducing that value that I would be providing to the client as far as creating the relationship by continually hearing my voice. So I need to get over that, not wanting to do that. And I feel like I want to make the investment to have it be like a lifelong style device.
Right. And video is not going away, guys.
No.
Right. So it's not like you're investing in like a Blu-ray player or something. Like, I don't even know what a Blu-ray player is.
I never had one.
Okay. I want to go through just a quick plug for something. I've spent a lot of time in the last couple of days doing some one-on-ones with agents. And one of the first things we're doing as we're starting our coaching is is going through that spreadsheet, right? The MREA2 spreadsheet. Everyone in the group, I've sent everyone in the group, I've sent a private message to them or shared a unique doc with them. Remember, everything in yellow is the cells you can edit, and the black and white is where the formulas are, so don't mess with that. But if you do not have one for some reason, or you can't find it, or you've never seen it, please let me know directly, and I'll make sure it's in your hands ASAP, okay? What I want to do as soon as possible is make sure that we spend a few minutes going through that so that we know what our big rocks are, meaning we know the data, the metrics that we should be building our plan around, so that you know exactly how to determine if you're on track or not and you're doing the right stuff every day to hit your goals. One thing that that I will admit I've been a little, I can sometimes kind of rush through, is the why behind it all. So I want to make sure that it's not just throwing a bunch of numbers at you. It's like, okay, you need to make 13 contacts a day or you're going to die, right? I want to connect why you want to do it. Like I spoke to somebody the other day that says that they want to pay off their mortgage on a house out of town, okay? And so you could tell once this person started talking about that it stirred up some emotions, right? It was more than just money and a mortgage. It was kind of what that represented, right? So I want to make sure if that person happens to be off track, then I can say, hey, remember how important and how emotional you got when we were talking about your mortgage in Florida? That's why you're making these extra calls. That's why you're doing 2 open houses a week instead of 1, right? So if I have kind of glazed over some of the whys with you, please call me out privately and let's get back to the basics, and let's make sure that it's not just cramming a bunch of numbers down your throat, and instead it's discussing the numbers in relationship and with an attachment to why you got started in the business in the first place. Okay, fair enough?
Fair.
Okay.
Fair.
Okay, next thing I want to chat about is, so while I'm going through these formulas with a lot of our people, there's one thing that just keeps like hammering me, which is the database, okay? My business at one point was close to 90% referral and repeat business. Now I had to earn it at the beginning, I get that. But once I had them, they were mine because I was touching them, I was communicating with them, I was giving them value and all that stuff, right? And so I want to encourage you to listen to this stat real fast. MREA2 says that for every 10 people you have in your database properly communicated with, you should have 1 sale per year. So you have a database of 100 people and you properly communicate with them each year, you should have 10 deals come out of that, okay? So I want you to have kind of a renewed focus on organizing your database if it is not as organized as it ought to be. If some names are in Facebook and some are in LinkedIn and some are in FMLS and some are in Excel and some are in, what's the old one called? E-Edge, right? Let's get them all into one place and let's analyze them to determine, is this somebody that I would be willing to, do I want to look at their name for the rest of my life? Right? Call them and find out if there's a chance that you could possibly help them in the future. Okay? So the more organized and the larger your database, the more consistent your business is going to be. And my goal for many of you guys has been to add 500 people to your database every year and have a plan to add 500 people to your database every year. All that is 2 a day, 250 days out of the year. So all you have to do is work 2/3 of the year, and each of those days add 2 people. If you do that, we sit here a year from today, and now you have well over 500 people in your database, and all you got to do is systematically communicate with them, and you can clobber all of the goals that we have right now, right? Because you should easily be able to get 30, 40, 50 deals out of that. Does that make sense? That is our business. If we were to ever sell our real estate practice, that's what you're selling. You're selling those relationships. Okay. So let's talk about some ideas on how we can make that a part of our day, to have an awareness and to have it a priority that each day we should be purposeful about building our database and growing our database. Talk to me about that.
When you break it down to 2 a day, that's so manageable.
I agree.
I mean, just having 2 real good conversations a day that just is like, I was just hit over the head because I feel like I've got to do, 40 a week.
Well, one is conversations or contacts, and the
Right.
other is database ads.
Right.
So we're talking about database ads. But
well, yeah.
if you have a bunch of good conversations, they're likely going to connect you with somebody who isn't currently in your database.
Right.
All right. I didn't mean to cut you off. Keep going.
No,
Please.
that's all I was going to say. That's good. And I haven't been adding them every day like I should, because I'm been trying to talk to 200 people a week. and now I changed my goals this week.
Tell me more about that.
I don't know. I have been overloaded by the 200 contacts a week for Bold, and not following up on what I should be, not following up on everything, not getting all my notes written. And, then trying to catch up with it at a later time. So I'm going to step back.
So this would be my advice. For the last month, we've been working on building that muscle. Right. And you have been doing great at the 200 contacts per week. So now when we go back to your specific plan, I'm not looking at it right this second, but let's just say, for example, it's 20 contacts a day rather than 40 contacts a day.
Right.
So let's pair that with a couple of other things. So now it's like you're staring at 40 every day for the last 5-6 weeks, and you're like, oh my gosh, I got to get 40. Oh my gosh, I got to get 40 because I got to get my 200. Well, now what you need to do, I don't want to tell you to stop doing 40, but I don't want anything to slip through the cracks. So I think it's okay to go back and revert to what your specific plan is, because now you have a muscle that's been helping you build something bigger than that. It's like if you go lift a bunch of 30-pound weights, and then I give you a 10-pound weight to lift, you're like, this is simple, right?
Right.
So now your daily focus, rather than 40 beating you over the head, should be 20 or whatever your number is, and 2 new people, right? Because if you do 2 new people, right, every day for the next 5 days, next year, you'll have a sale. If you stay in touch with those new 10 people every single 36 times a year, you're going to have a sale. It's a predictable sale. It's a statistically proven sale, right? So if you want to have more sales, add more people to the database.
Right.
Make sense?
Yep.
So I want everyone to kind of think that through, right? How can I include in my daily plan the commitment to grow my database? It doesn't have to be 2 a day. That's just my number. But it should be, I guess a bare minimum of 1. I think that is going to give you that satisfaction that your business is growing every day. And oftentimes we need that confidence, right? Some days we finish work and we're like, today wasn't all that good, right? But if you grew your database and somebody is gonna want to work with you in the future, it changes that attitude. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes.
And by the way, that's another concept of what we talk about, E2P. We talked about E2P a lot in Bold. Had anyone heard that concept for the first time in Bold, or does everyone know what I'm talking about when I say E2P?
No, I'm unfamiliar with it.
Okay, so this is a concept that is in the one thing. And it's also a concept that is part of the 6 personal perspectives, which was one of the original curriculums of Keller Williams and Gary. And this is an idea that kind of your natural habits and your natural skill set is what they call entrepreneurial. So if I say, go do the business, right? And you don't have targets in mind or goals in mind with how many appointments you're going to set or how many people you're going to add to your database and these kind of things, then you kind of just go through business receiving business, right? So I talked to somebody outside the company yesterday for a while, and one year she has 4 deals, one year she has 6 deals, one year she has 11 deals, one year she has 1 deal. And what that's telling me is that she's basically, and again, no judgment, the first step is awareness. Essentially what's happening is she's in the lead receiving business. So the reason why she had 1 deal last year was because only 1 of her friends called. The reason why she had 6 the year before is because 6 of her friends called. So what is now clear is that she is not taking control of her business. It's completely reactive, right? She's not being purposeful about her behavior. And so at the end of the year, she looks up and she says, 4 deals. I guess only 4 of my friends wanted to buy. And then she has to deal with the income that those 4 deals generates, whether it's in line with what she wants or needs or not. That is a complete lack of control. My advice to you would be to take purposeful steps, to be purposeful about your business, to say, my family needs X number of dollars a month to afford the things that we desire, right? The lifestyle we want to live. And that's going to require that I have 1 closing a month. And that's going to require that I meet with 2 people a month. And I don't care what the weather is. I don't care what the blah, 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 blah is. I got to meet with 2 people. And if only 1 of my friends is going to call this month, I got to go find a stranger. Does that make sense? So that's a purposeful approach. Right here, this is me entrepreneurially. Okay, if I want a 6-pack, I got to be purposeful. Okay, and the reason I don't have a 6-pack is because I'm not purposeful yet. Maybe today's the day. I don't know. But yesterday certainly wasn't. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So now you can go back and analyze in your life, right, outside of real estate. What behaviors are you purposeful about and what are you entrepreneurial about, right? Are you purposeful about learning, a new language or learning a new skill or spending time with your kids or praying or any of that kind of stuff? Or does it just kind of happen when it happens, right? Sometimes the thing I'm most purposeful about is checking Facebook. And I would assume that I'm not alone. Is that fair to say?
Fair.
For the most part, yes. Yes.
Right. So and obviously we know you're going to have better results if you're purposeful. Right.
Right.
But none of this stuff means anything if it doesn't tie back to why you are in this room this moment. Right. Pretty much everyone I've ever talked to, thousands of people about real estate, they virtually all got into the business for the same reason, which is to have a better quality of life. Well, in order to have a better quality of life, you can't be entrepreneurial. You have to be purposeful. You have to say, better quality of life to me means a vacation every month. Okay, how are you going to pay for that? Okay, we're going to have to get purposeful about how you generate the income to pay for that. So no judgment. If your lifestyle requires that you have 4 deals a year, fantastic. But be purposeful about who those 4 people are going to be. All right, give me some feedback. What are you thinking? What do you hear? What are you hearing?
I'm getting from that, the work you put in is the work that you get out. You can say that you want to do a lot, but if you're not actively going out there and staying consistent to getting the job done and reaching your goals, stuff is just going to come from you. So you are literally in charge of your own destiny.
That's right. And I would piggyback on that idea that it's not just, man hours that you put in. It's doing the right stuff. right? If you're fiddling around with a website no one knows exists,
Doesn't
that
matter.
may not generate a whole lot of opportunity for you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Looks like some of you guys are chatting. I want to make sure I address all that.
Heather, Oscar Flores and Cynthia Bourgeois both speak Spanish. Elena Corbett may speak French.
I think she does.
Yeah.
And I think she speaks Russian and Persian.
Yeah, she definitely speaks Russian and Persian, but I do think she, and,
Okay,
I mean, she
so,
has lots of languages.
so who are those people? Oscar, O-S-C-A-R.
Flores, F-L-O-R-E-S,
S. Okay.
and Cynthia, that's C-I-N-T-H-Y-A.
I think it's Y-I-A.
Y.
By the way,
Okay.
she's going to be our guest on Friday. Don't forget about that.
Bourgeois, B-O-R-D-U-A.
I can highly recommend Oscar. I don't really personally know Cynthia, but I just referred somebody to him, and he's done a fabulous job. He already has him under contract. So
Yeah, they're both fantastic agents.
Okay. Yeah. So
Cynthia's got a pretty remarkable story too. That's one of the reasons why I want to introduce you guys to her. I won't give away all the secrets. You have to tune back in at 12 o'clock on Friday. But she has a remarkable story.
She's fabulous. She's one of my office daughters.
And by the way, Heather, that's an opportunity for you, right? So if you speak languages, let the world know, right? Let the agents.
Like, I want to put it like on my profile now, like going through the Kel stuff, the about me. I should put in there that I do speak these languages.
And also in Roswell and GLG, if anyone has a French client that would like to chat or I could help, let me know.
Okay. Yeah, I used to do interpretation work for medical teams in Guatemala.
That's pretty cool.
So who's the French person?
Elena Corbett, Corbett. And her husband, Tony, just joined Productivity Coaching. He's brand new.
Exactly. Okay. I want to throw a couple of other things out there that I've heard over the last few days. Don't forget that if you're still doing the DTD4 or DTD2, the last names this week are I as in Igloo, L as in Larry, N as in Nancy, and P as in Paul. Okay. And I wanted to remind you of a quote. I think Audrey said it yesterday. It said, in order to change yourself, you must challenge yourself. What does that mean to you guys?
Step out of your comfort zone. Do more than you are comfortable doing. We get comfortable with what we're doing, and in order to change, we gotta do something that we don't want to do.
Well, or do something that you just haven't done before, right?
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah.
It could be fun, right? There's a hell of a thrill you get from not having tried something before and then go try it and being successful, right? Who else wants to comment on that?
Makes sense. Like today, my husband and I are going to meet with 2 FSBOs in our neighborhood, and that's way out of our comfort zone. We've never done anything like that before, so that's a huge challenge for us, and prayers appreciated.
You got mine. Just remember that here's two attitudes that you should have going into that meeting, okay? Number one is you're damn good at what you do. Okay. You know how to price property, you know how to market property, you know how to keep the transaction together. You have successfully helped several buyers and many buyers and many sellers in the past, and you work hard and you're a person of integrity, and they would be lucky to get your help. That's one piece of attitude. Okay. And the second piece of attitude is that they are, they're just not acting with all the appropriate amount of resources around them, right? They may not have 100% exposure. They definitely don't have 100% representation or advice. There's a lot of challenges in the world. There's safety issues. There is virus issues. There is all kinds of stuff going on that could and will likely prevent them from getting 100% of the money they could earn. So I did put in the top 20% group last night about the FSBO stat. I haven't gotten an answer for you yet. I hope to get that for you today. Remember, most of your talking should be asking questions, right? Finding what are their concerns, what are their experiences, what is their motivation, etc. And then, Shauna, are you still on the call?
Yes.
You want to throw out your idea from yesterday? I thought that was phenomenal.
Which one? I'm sorry.
About the pictures.
About the what?
Pictures. Is someone still on the call?
Yeah, that you would do professional pictures.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, my dog was getting my attention. Yeah, so I walk in, basically, I talk about their home and why they're selling, where they're moving to. It's all, like Bill said, it's questions. Give me the story of what you love most about this. What would your neighbors say about this neighborhood? They will talk, and then you really just shut up and listen. And it's very simple. And then just, if they don't have quality pictures, to say, hey, I would love to market this well for you. Like, I do have a buyer who wants to come in. This might match his criteria, but I want to actually take some pictures back and also do something for you and offer you a gift. I would love for my photographer to come in, no cost to you completely. I'm paying it. Would you like that? And you get to keep the photos. They're not going to say no. And they're very appreciative. And more often than not, when it sits on the market for a while, and I'll check in, hey, how's it going? Hey, I just did a Facebook, is it okay if I do a Facebook ad just to get some traffic going there so I can bring some people through? They say yes. And that's how you get leads also, by the way. And then when they start realizing that, one, if you're doing your job well, you'll bring them a buyer. If they have sat for a while and they realize, one, what you brought to the table for them, more often than not, they're going to call you up and say, hey, you know what? You're doing such a great job. We would love to have you be the person who sells our home. And that's what happens.
Exactly. Exactly. And if none of that happens, and you give, or if you say the deal about the pictures and you offer assistance and they totally blow you off, it doesn't matter. You're never going to meet that person.
Right.
They're not going to eat you. You're not going to die. Okay.
Can I ask, was it, forgive me if I pronounce your name wrong, Marinelli?
Yes.
You were the one, you said you and your husband were going to meet with someone today.
Correct. We're meeting, we have 2 FSBO appointments today. Correct.
So when you initially pretty much spoke with them, did you can you go through that like really quickly? Like, what was your process of it? Did you strictly script it, or like, how did you approach it? Like, and those are the problems, my nerves.
In our case, they're both in our neighborhood.
Okay.
So it was kind of easier in the sense that, you know, we're in your neighborhood and we have clients, you know, looking in the area, but we don't know what your home looks like. Can we go look at it? We want to preview it, kind of like on that line. It was, I believe we got it maybe from page 23 or 24 from the scripts that Bill has on the Google Drive for us. Pivot scripts, I believe it was. But yeah, we were lucky enough that, again, it was a neighborhood, 2 neighborhood homes. So we went at it with that angle.
Okay. Cool.
Right. Remember that listen more than you talk. Listen more than you talk.
Listen more. Got it.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, today at 4:00, we've had some requests to have meetings a little bit later in the day. And coincidentally, we have one today at 4:00. So 4:00 to 5:00 today will be the emerging group and the growth group together. We've kind of merged those for now. And the idea there is 4 units per year or more. And we're going to be talking about some content that is kind of geared towards your production level. I want to remind you that our all group session is tomorrow at 1, and our launch mastermind is Friday at 1, just after the lunch workshop that we're going to have with Cynthia. And that'll be 12 o'clock on Friday. When you're filling out your goals for the results page, remember the goals should match your plan. So that presupposes you have the plan, and you and I have discussed what those numbers actually are. So if you find yourself saying, well, I don't know what my goal should be, or like kind of haphazardly writing a number down, that's a clear indication that we need to talk again. Okay. So I'm really proud of you. You guys are setting some great goals for the first week in June. And if you have not put in your numbers for May, please do. I want to close up the month. We are almost setting every records across the board. So I just want to take a moment and let you know how much I appreciate the opportunity to work with you guys and to help you on real estate stuff and not real estate stuff. And nothing makes me happier than you guys getting closer and closer to your goals. So keep up the good work, okay?
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank
See you later.
Thanks.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.